If you're trying to lose weight, you've probably heard that protein is important. I said about it many times before. Protein helps you stay full for a long time, it reduces cravings, it helps to preserve muscle while dieting, which is very, very important. And I would say it simply makes your weight loss journey feel easier. And we want it to be as easy as possible. So today I'm sharing my personal top 5 protein foods for weight loss. These aren't necessarily the highest protein foods on earth, and they're not some exotic superfoods that will cost you a fortune. These are simply my favorite protein foods that I regularly recommend to clients because they're practical, they're tasty, filling, and easy to fit into everyday life. And I think that's what matters most. Just a quick note before we start, there is no single magic food that causes weight loss. Weight loss ultimately comes down to being in calorie deficit. However, choosing the right foods that keep you not only satisfied but also nourished, happy and strong is what makes the difference between trying to lose weight and actually doing it and keeping it off. So let's jump straight in. So my number 1 is Greek yogurt. It's the first food on my list. And honestly, if I had to choose one protein food that almost everybody could benefit from by adding it to their diet, Greek yogurt would be near the top of the list. It's convenient. It requires no cooking. It's relatively affordable and works for breakfast, snacks, or even as a dessert. But here's something important. Not all Greek yogurts are created equal. Many people walk into a supermarket, see the words Greek style, Greek yogurt, we see a lot of it, on the packaging and assume they're buying a high protein product. Unfortunately, that's not always true. Some yogurts marketed as Greek yogurt contain very similar amounts of protein to ordinary fruity yogurts. So whenever you're buying Greek yogurt, flip the tub over and check the nutrition label. What we're looking for is around 7 grams of protein or more per 100 milliliters of product. The higher, the better. I would also encourage you to take a quick look at the ingredient list. In general, simpler is better. A good Greek yogurt shouldn't need a long list of ingredients that sound like a chemistry experiment. If you see a product that you have no idea what it is, don't buy it. My personal favorites here in the UK are Fage Total and Yo Valley Greek recipe yogurt. They're creamy, satisfying, high in protein, 8 or 9 grams per 100 ml, and they keep me feeling full and like they work for a long time. One of the best things about Greek yogurt in general is how versatile it is. You can completely customize it to your own tastes. You could add fresh berries, bananas, chia seeds, flax seeds, pumpkin seeds. Some people add peanut butter. I personally don't like it, but some people do. A small portion of a quality granola, some healthy muesli. And because you're building the meal yourself, you're in control of both the nutrition and the calories. So you can just weigh in however much you want. One thing I often tell my clients is that hunger isn't just about how much food you eat. It's also about what you eat. A protein-rich breakfast based around Greek yogurt can often keep you satisfied much longer than a sugary cereal breakfast that contains very little protein. There's one reason yogurt has earned a permanent place in my fridge, and it's because how easy it is to add on. The second food on my list is fish. Fish is one of those foods that it's incredibly nutrient dense, yet many people don't eat enough of it. When it comes to weight loss, I like to split fish into 2 categories. White fish, and that includes fish like cod or haddock or pollock. It's fantastic during a calorie deficit because it's naturally very low in calories while providing a large amount of protein. That means you can eat a satisfying large portion while still staying within your calorie goals. White fish is also a good source of important nutrients, including iodine, selenium, and vitamin B12. Many people find that fish is actually much more filling than they expected, especially when paired with vegetables and potatoes. The second category is oily fish, like salmon, herring, sardines, mackerel. Oily fish contains more calories than white fish because it naturally contains more fat, but don't let that put you off. The fats found in oily fish are some of the healthiest fats available. Oily fish is rich in omega-3 fatty acids, and for some people, omega-3 intake can genuinely be a game changer for weight loss. Research suggests omega-3 fats may help support better appetite regulation, improved insulin sensitivity, reduced inflammation, and better mood and improved focus. And this is important because weight loss isn't only about calories. If you're constantly tired, if you're struggling with cravings, feeling low in energy, you're just simply sad, addressing the quality of your nutrition can make a huge difference. I often say oily fish gives you protein plus a package of additional health benefits. Ideally, include both in your diet regularly. Your body will definitely thank you for it. So, the third protein food on my list is cottage cheese. Now, cottage cheese has become incredibly popular recently, especially on social media. If you spend any time on TikTok or Instagram, you've probably seen people turning cottage cheese into everything from pasta, sauces to desserts, pizza bases, pancakes, ice cream, and countless other recipes. And to be completely honest, I've tried quite a few of those recipes and most of them are just simply not for me. My favorite way to eat cottage cheese is actually much simpler. I like to add a few dried cranberries or dried blueberries for a little sweetness, mix it together and eat it with a spoon alongside some sandwiches and leafy greens. Simple, tasty and high in protein. Of course, that's just my personal preference. One thing I love about living in the UK is that there are now so many Polish shops available almost everywhere. And if you've never visited one, I highly recommend it. Most Polish supermarkets stock a huge variety of cottage cheese products, including cottage cheese with chives, cottage cheese with fruit compotes, lactose-free versions, traditional farmer's cottage cheese, and so on. So if you're not sure where to start, simply ask one of the shop assistants. They're usually happy to point you in the right direction. And here's a fun fact many people don't know. Traditional Polish cheesecake is actually made using cottage cheese. It's rich, creamy, absolutely delicious, and naturally contains a lot more protein than many typical desserts. Now, before anyone gets too excited, I'm not saying cheesecake is suddenly a weight loss food, eat it every day, but as a dessert, it's definitely a good option. If you want to give yourself a break, have a dessert, go for cottage cheese cheesecake. Now, my number 4 is eggs, one of nature's most complete foods. For years, eggs received a bad reputation because they contain cholesterol. Many people were told to limit eggs because they believed eating cholesterol automatically raised blood cholesterol and increased the risk of heart disease. However, modern nutrition research has taught us that the story is much more complicated than that. For most healthy people, the cholesterol you eat has surprisingly little effect on the cholesterol circulating in your bloodstream. Why? Because your liver actually produces cholesterol on its own. When you eat more cholesterol from food, your body often compensates by producing less itself. It's like a thermostat. So your body is constantly trying to maintain balance. So even if you eat more, your liver will produce less. For the majority of people, eating eggs as part of balanced diet is not associated with any harmful increases in blood cholesterol. Now, let's talk about why I love eggs for weight loss. First of all, they're incredibly filling. If you've ever had a breakfast of toast and jam and found yourself hungry again an hour later, you'll know what I mean. Protein-rich foods tend to keep us satisfied for much longer. Eggs are also packed with nutrients. That's what I love about them. They contain high-quality, complete protein, vitamin B12, vitamin D, vitamin A, vitamin E, selenium, iron, zinc, and many others. One nutrient that's particularly interesting is choline. Many people have never heard of it, but it's incredibly important for brain function, memory, and nervous system health. Eggs are actually one of the richest dietary sources of choline available. Personally, one thing I noticed a few years ago was how much more satisfied I felt when I increased the protein content of my breakfast. Instead of having 1 or 2 eggs, I often started having 4 or even 5 eggs alongside vegetables. The difference in hunger levels throughout the day was huge. I stayed fuller for longer, had fewer cravings, and found it easier to stick to my calorie targets because they regulate hormones too. And that's one of the biggest secrets of successful weight loss. Not constantly fighting hunger. And the final protein food on my list is chicken. Now, I know this one isn't exactly exciting. If you've ever looked at a fitness magazine or search for weight loss recipes online, you've probably seen chicken about 1,000 times. But there is a reason it keeps appearing. Chicken is one of the most practical weight loss foods available. It's naturally high in protein. It's relatively low in calories and incredibly versatile. You can prepare it in almost endless ways. You can bake it in the oven, you can add it to stews, you can make curries, you can use it in salads, you can add it to wraps, you can make fajitas, stir fry with vegetables, you can put it into soups and so on. The beauty of chicken is that it works with almost any cuisine: Italian, Indian, Mexican, Mediterranean, Asian, you name it. One mistake people often make when trying to lose weight is eating the same meals repeatedly until they become bored. The great thing about chicken is that changing the herbs, spices, sauces, and vegetables can make the same protein source taste completely different. And when you're trying to maintain healthy eating habits long term, variety matters, because if you think it's boring, you're not gonna stick to it. So there you have it, my personal top 5 protein foods for weight loss: Greek yogurt, fish, cottage cheese, eggs, and chicken. These are simply my personal favorites. There are many others, many other fantastic protein sources out there, including beef, turkey, tofu, prawns, nuts, seafood, protein powders, beans, lentils, and many, many more. But these are the foods that I personally find the most satisfying, practical, and enjoyable. And if there is one message I want you to take away from this video, it's this: weight loss becomes much easier when you're not constantly hungry. Many people focus entirely on calories and forget about food quality, but the foods you choose influence your hunger, your energy levels, cravings, and how easy it feels to stay consistent. Protein is one of the most powerful tools we have for improving satiety. So if you're currently struggling with cravings, constant hunger, or finding it difficult to stay on track with your weight loss goals, try looking at your protein intake first. Count your macros. Sometimes that one simple change can make a bigger difference than you expect. And I'd love to know in the comments, what's your favorite protein food for weight loss?